So we come together to look at intention with a talk that is entitled, Laugh with God, Let Go of Plans, Let in Miracles. And so what do I mean by that? How does that work exactly? Well, let me tell you that how that works. First, I must go back to describe something I've talked about before, which is the 4 levels of consciousness. The first level is to me. The first level is when we simply feel victimized by life. There is no intention. We're just constantly in reaction to what's going on around us, and we just feel victimized by it. The second is by me, and I want to be very clear that there are many, many people who have been very successful with a by me mentality. A by me mentality is where you set a plan in motion, where you then follow that, you set an intention, create a plan around that intention, and then you follow that plan right to your goal. And you do it. You march right to it and you make it happen. And people are very, very successful doing that, time and time again. So I am in no way saying that that's bad or wrong, because people are very, very successful doing that sort of thing. The next is through me. Through me is where our intention is that we get our ego out of the way, we get ourselves out of the way and let some bigger power speak through us and tell us what our intention should be and march us to our destiny. That is the through me mentality. A song like Use Me by Ricky Byers is very much through me, where we are being used by this greater power. Now, last week I spoke about and we talked about the importance of the ego and how it brings to light the unique and magnificent individual we are in the One. That the ego is our ally and our best friend. So we don't want to kill it or push it aside. We don't want to become the hollow bone that the Native Americans talk about it. Instead of letting this great power use us, we want to use it. We want to use this power by using our ego to create intention of what we want, and then using this great power to create it in our lives. And that is the as me mentality. When we use this greater part of ourselves that is the all, that is the One, to actually create our lives. When we do that, we do not need a plan. No plan is necessary except standing in that place of intention. Dr. Holmes tells us this law of mind is our access to the original creative genius of the universe and has no intention for us other than the intention that we give it. This great mind does not want us to be a hollow bone. It has no intention for us except what we give it through the we that we are, the unique and magnificent expression of the divine that each of us is. So it is not for us to get out of the way. It is for us to use this greater power. And if we do, we don't need a plan. Now again, I want to be clear that a by me mentality of creating a plan and following it will work. But it's more work than I want to do, because I know that there's this greater power that can do the work for me. When I was back in my late 20s, I actually wound up homeless. And I was on the streets, and it was in New York City, just before Christmas. It was very cold. And one day a realtor saw me and said, "I have a place for you to stay." And he took me to a 5-bedroom, gorgeous apartment. And I said, "I can't afford this." He says, "I can't rent this till the first of the year anyway. So you just stay here so that you can be warm through the holidays." I didn't know this man. I'd never met him before in my life. And now I was in this gigantic, gorgeous 5-bedroom apartment. So I said to him, "Well, since you're letting me stay here, if I can rent out the other rooms and find roommates and pay the rent, can I stay?" And he said, sure. And so I placed an ad in the paper, and within a week, rented out all the rooms, gave him the money, and wound up living there for the next 2 years. He called me right after the holidays, and he said, you know, I have another 5-bedroom apartment I've been having trouble renting. What if you rent it out like you did this one, roommates in each room, and you could make a profit on it, and then that one would be rented? And I said I'd give it a shot, and within a week, rented out that place. So he wound up telling his friends about me, and wound up giving me more apartments. And before I knew it, I had 15 apartments, 50 tenants, collecting $38,000 a month in rent, and was making $75,000 a year. Now, this is something I could never have planned. I could never have planned a strategic planning of a realtor's going to come by I've never met and put me in a 5-bedroom apartment. You can't plan that sort of thing. But you can have an intention, which I did, that my life works, that I was not meant to be on the streets, that I knew something for my good could occur. And simply by holding that intention, a miracle happened. At the same time my son was born, I got hurt on the job and lost my job as a carpenter. I was unemployed as I took my son home from the hospital. I was very concerned about his health. Did not have any prospects for work. I had no clue what I was going to do next. But I wanted to make sure that he was covered. And so I started calling health insurance companies looking for coverage just for him, because I certainly couldn't afford it for myself and my wife at the time, Isaac's mom. In making those calls and saying, do you have health insurance that I could get just for my child? One of the gentlemen asked, why? Why are you looking for coverage just for your son? And I said, because I have no work and no income right now. And he said, I think I have a job for you. Why don't you come in for an interview? But before the end of 3 years, I was making $150,000 a year. Once again, this was not done by plan. I did not plan to call health insurance companies looking for work. I was just looking for my son's health insurance. The greatest miracles come into our lives when we simply set an intention. And my intention was to take care of my son. That was my intention. What I didn't know was by holding that intention, and a whole world would open up to me that I had no idea about. Because up to that point, making $150,000 a year was well beyond what I thought was possible. But my intention was to take care of my son. And that's what played out. Our intentions are incredibly powerful. Our plans, not so much. Now again, our plans can work, but then we're doing the work. There is a much greater power at our disposal than us doing the work. After my divorce, I lived in the woods for 2 years, in a cabin in the woods. And then after a 2-year period, decided it was time to start dating again, that it was time for me to find the love of my life. And so, forgetting all I know that I'm talking to you about today, I put forth a plan and signed up for every dating service on the internet and had 36 first dates. And then finally met somebody who I wound up dating for a while and even living with for a short time, who was definitely not the one. And then got my own place again. And after that incident, decided I was no longer moving forward with this plan of mine, that it was time to remember that intention was where the power was. I quit all the dating services, stopped looking for a date, and started simply doing what was in front of me to do next, holding the intention that, of course, the love of my life would come along. And then one day, a woman posts a video that it turns out, she told me afterwards, was just for an hour. that somehow wound up in my feed. 3,300 friends, and her video somehow, for the 1 hour she posts it, winds up in my feed and I see that video. And knew deep in my bones I needed to reach out to this person, so I did. And in less than 5 minutes, she reached out to me. In less than 5 minutes after that, we were having a conversation. In less than an hour after that, we were in this very room talking to each other and continued to talk to each other every single night. Until 6 months later, we were living together. And 8 months later, we were engaged to be married. That I could have never planned a woman putting a video up on the internet for an hour that somehow I would catch, that would then turn out to be the love of my life. As you are, my darling Ashley. And so, it's just amazing what's possible when we hold an intention for love or anything. When we hold an intention and then let go of how that intention comes about. It is within our grasp to have anything that is ours to have. This law of mind is our access to the original creative genius of the universe and has no intention for us other than the intention that we give it. The intention we give it. This is not a through me mentality. It is an as me. We give it the intention. But then we let go of the plan. And then we don't have to do it. Except for what's right in front of us to do. I have had an intention for months to have a brick and mortar ministry along with my virtual ministry. I wanted both. And Ashley and I have been treating for that every morning. And we have done what has been in front of us to do as I finished my book, got my book out there. As I began to go around and check out the different centers throughout the area to see which one might work for us. We held an intention of a brick and mortar ministry that would complement and work with this virtual ministry. And then out of the blue, I get a phone call from a woman who says that I have been in her meditation. My face has showed up in her meditations for a week. And she called and said she had to call me because she had a ministry in Long Beach, less than an hour from here, that she thought I might be interested in. And it's turned out to be perfect. And last week, I accepted that position. And so now I have my brick and mortar ministry and my virtual ministry because my face showed up in somebody's meditations. That's not something you could put in a strategic plan. You can't sit down and write a strategic plan of, I will show up in somebody's meditations for a week so that they will call me. You cannot do that. But you can hold an intention so that miracles happen again and again and again. Our life is just filled with opportunities to have miracles occur. But it is up to us to hold the intention. And when we let go of the plan of how that comes about, then how it comes about can be in ways that we would have never even dawned on us. I mean, every one of the things that has occurred never even dawned on me. This is what's possible for you. To have a life full of intention, full of love, full of light. To have a life that is miraculous. Hold your intention. Let go of the how, and let the miracles begin. Laugh with God. Let go of the plan, and let in the miracle. Let's do a meditation on this. Please sit back, take a deep breath, and relax. And find yourself on a path. It is the perfect path. It is your path. This path leads to your sanctuary, your perfect place of being. Know the sights, the sounds. It is your perfect sanctuary. And there in the sanctuary is a chair. It is the most comfortable chair you can imagine. And as you sit in it, feel the of relaxation and comfort. Take another deep breath and relax even deeper. And from this place, make an intention. Maybe it's for just the rest of today. Maybe it's for tomorrow. Maybe it's for the holidays. Maybe it's for the coming year. Maybe it's for the rest of your life. It's for you to decide what intention you are willing to make right now. Make an intention right now, either based on today, a week, a month, the holidays, a year, or the rest of your life. Pick one intention and make that intention now. Now imagine that intention emanating out from your being into the one, into the allness that says yes. Imagine this incredible power at your command that says, yes, you are my beloved. Of course, this intention is yours. And feel the echo back from this allness. And imagine this intention demonstrating in your life now. Imagine your intention already done. Thank yourself for this magnificent expression of the divine, of your intention demonstrating for you. And when you are ready, open your eyes.